If you want to be able to buy the most expensive players and open the best packs in FC24, go to u7buy.com to buy your EA FC24 coins. It's cheaper than buying FC points and just as reliable. With their already amazing prices, you can get an extra 6% using promo code Inception at checkout. Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about the new leaked Future Stars Team 2. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I might even do a rant video today because today might be a decent day to kind of talk about a few things here and there, right? But the content today was this card. I mean, to be fair, completely irrelevant, right? If he gets an evolution in the future, I still think people won't care because they're probably gonna have better options to work with. So this is just a release for the sake of releasing. I couldn't tell you guys, honestly. I don't know. Probably like an EA dev that's just like, you know what, let's just put something random in there. Like that's what that one is for sure. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about Future Stars Team 2, the leaks that we have so far. Obviously in the future there could be more, but we're gonna be checking out some of the cards that could be currently coming out, right? So a lot of cards that you're going to see here are players that people or some people have done through evolutions, and some cards that could potentially be pretty meta, right? So the first card that we have here that is apparently leaked as an SBC is the Hemp card, right? So she obviously has the Thunderstruck version. I've never tried this card out myself. As a female player, though, she does look like she has a lot of potential. I can actually see her being very good because of the capabilities that she offers in game, right? So a couple of things that I'm noticing that I like so far is she's 5'5", so even though she's a short and lean minus body type, which is usually a combination of agility and physical, because she's 5'5", that could compensate for it and make her really nice on the dribbling, like a Tenia. Tenia is kind of like that, right? From the Future Stars upgrade. They could give her like a 4-star, 4-star, 5-star, 4-star even would be kind of nice. She's a left-footed player on the left hand side that gives you some pretty solid links to work with, right? English as well as Man City is actually very, very nice. So as an SBC, I could definitely see her being a W. She already has Whipped Pass Plus, and she has a bunch of playstyles as well. So as an SBC, this is one to look for. I think she could definitely be a very, very solid card because she has all the right base mechanic stuff. Like I said, I never tried this Thunderstruck version of her card, but with the new version coming out, there is a lot of potential to work with, right? The next one we have is Hoyen's card. So obviously he's received cards before, and in terms of like usability, it was there, right? But in terms of, you know, longevity with the card in game, it just wasn't going to be a card that was going to last a long time, right? Now, technically speaking, with this card, you could have gone in the direction of giving him a finisher, and lengthy would have pushed the pace out of the card a little bit more. But this is more in regards to like usability than it is for like meta quality. Like this card, once he was originally released, I never really seen him afterwards, right? And it's interesting because he has finesse shot plus. On a finisher, you know, you boost the dribbling, boost the shooting, but for longevity, it's just not a card that was going to last that long. But obviously as a Future Stars, if they go in the direction of, you know, providing some of these guys the two play styles like they have been with some of the other cards, then there is potential to work with, right, with this card, because he is base 4-star 4-star from this card while being a left-footed player, high work rates. A work rate change would be kind of cool, right, if they were to, you know, adjust that to like a high medium while still working with the lengthy part of the card. It would be really nice if he stayed on all of that while providing him with an engine as of what this card is right now, right? If I can give him an engine and his base card stats for shooting are significantly higher, then it would definitely be really nice, right? Maybe they can also boost his pace capabilities as well, like a rapid plus, quick step plus would be nice. Like quick step, I think for a physical guy like this would be very, very helpful because he would utilize physical capabilities to kind of get past the defense, right? So wouldn't necessarily be a bad choice there. Palmer, for people who have been doing his evolutions, they probably have like a pretty decent version of this card because even his inform has an evolutions that's gone up to an 87. And there's obviously like a few other options as well, right? Like if you go to the silver cards, you go to the evolutions, there's ones like cut inside where if people have been doing all of this, then you get a pretty decent Palmer card who is a 5-star 4-star player. So you know, if you've been improving a card like this so far, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Future Stars because of the certain evolutions that he currently has, because as of right now, like even Pedro Neto has like a nice SBC. People disliked it because they compare it to the evolution card, which is a better card, but obviously if you've been doing it for longer, it should be a better card. That's kind of like how it works, right? So people always ignore that when it comes to looking at these cards. But with Palmer, you know, he's got some pretty decent play styles to work with. The usability could be there. I just think that the main thing here is obviously, again, going to be boosting the dribbling stats of the card, right? Like you should be able to give him an engine because he's 6'2", right? You want to be able to boost that agility, balance, and dribbling of the card. But base card stats needs to be improved drastically in some other areas of the card while working with better base card stats for shooting. So we'll see what they do with him. But, you know, he has potential to be pretty decent as well. Zaire Emery, young talents from PSG, very, very good player. He could definitely be really cool too. You know, he has a few cards like Team of the Year Visionary where they have drastically improved the card, right? You give him a shadow chemistry style. He doesn't necessarily need to be a lengthy player, but a few adjustments would definitely be cool. For instance, if they made him like a high work rated for the meta of the game, that would definitely be like a really huge plus. But also increasing skill moves and stuff could definitely be a really helpful thing as well. But I mean, the card has a lot of potential, right? Like if we've seen from the evolution so far, the card definitely looks pretty decent. He lacks in shooting, but you know, you would use him more in a defensive way, I would say, because you know, if he doesn't have the shooting capabilities, then excuse me, you rely more on like the passing and all that kind of stuff, right? So it just makes sense to look at it that way, right? Diakite, is this the guy from Nottingham Forest? This guy, he has something. Is it the evolutions? No, I've seen Diakite before. I don't know why I've seen him before. Maybe you know what? Because I was like doing SBCs on like one of the accounts, so that might be it. Might be it actually. But do I see him being better than this card? I mean, tough to say. I would say because like Shadow Chemistry Style puts his card in a pretty good area. If he is a Future Stars, unless there's like another Diakite, which I don't think there is. I highly doubt it's these other guys, though. That's the thing. Is it the French one? French Diakite. Yeah. There's this guy, too. Salim Diakite. When was this guy born? Does it say here? It probably does, but I just don't know exactly where it is. Yeah, no idea. This guy? What's this guy? Is Serie B? Yeah, they're not doing it for him. If they do it for him, that'd be super, super weird. Playstyles on this card obviously has a bunch, but that's in evolutions, right? So we go to the regular playstyles, just jockey. So yeah, they would have to give him some pretty significant stuff. He could be cool too because he actually has like really good position changes. Like he has right back, he's got center back, left back. So yeah, not too bad there either. Bacha is going to be like a fan favorite, but she's going to be expensive. She's going to be expensive. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This card still holds up in people's teams nowadays. Is it as good as some of the left backs that have recently come out? No, obviously not, because they have a little bit more physical presence while being able to provide that stuff on the attack. But you know what it is about Bacha that I like a lot about her, man? I'm really big on like gameplay compensators in my team. You know, players that when I move with them left stick wise, when I'm defending and when I'm controlling the ball with them, it's really nice to use those cards, right? If you guys watched the review for Bacha when she originally came out, I did her review and I literally told people like this is probably one of the best valued SBCs this year, like because if she gets the upgrades, she has potential to be really, really crazy. And she actually lasted a very long time in people's teams in the higher divisions because first of all, Whipped Pass Plus is insane to work with, especially if you have, you know, good physical type players up top, right? Like that can really, really utilize that play style. That's why Kai Havertz is still a usable card nowadays too. But yeah, she's just like very agile. She has good work rates and she just feels good on the ball, right? And those are the types of players that you want. But Bacha, you know, another playstyle plus could be really cool. A defensive one would definitely be a huge plus. Like if they give her Bruiser Plus, considering how small she is, it'd be kind of nuts because you'd push the pace out of the card way more. You know what I'm saying? So it would definitely be very nice for a card like that for sure. Mukoko. Is this the same guy from Borussia Dortmund? I haven't seen this guy recently, man. Like he bursted onto the scene and then I don't think he even plays that much anymore. I don't know what's up with this dude. Because with him, it's like, you know, you give him like a hunter chemistry style, you boost the pace, you boost the shooting, left-footed player. You know, you're working with some pretty decent stuff, right? Play styles, he's got finesse shot, technical flair, first touch, trivela, acrobatic, right? So some very good stuff there too. This is just a regular version of the card, but as a future stars, he could definitely be really cool. Technical plus would be a really huge W, and finesse shot plus would be a huge W as well. But the reason why I'm saying technical plus in particular is because he has a unique body type, and I don't know what that unique body type is like in game, but his dribbling stats is kind of like oddly formatted. So they would definitely need to improve that, I would say, for him to be a really cool card for sure. Udogi, I can actually see being a very nice left back, to be honest, because I think on Giyu's account, because he's a Spurs player, he's probably like evoed him a few times, right? And what I noticed with this card is that he has a good physical presence, right? And that's like a really nice thing to work with when it comes to the fullbacks that can also dribble as well. This card from a Pep's legacy is a 4-star, 5-star player while being left-footed, right? Obviously, this evolution was an absolute W. There were so many cards that if you change them into Pep's legacy, they were fantastic, right? And in his case, on a shadow chemistry style, right, really good pace, defensive stats would have to be drastically increased on a future stars, because at this point in the game we need them to be a little bit higher, obviously. But again, a lot of potential with a card like this as a future stars. You know, he's working with a lot of very, very cool things, right? So he could definitely be very sick as well. Zico, we already know from Zico, the only thing that's like a little bit off with the card is base dribbling, because the average body type and the way that his dribbling stats are formatted. But with the new future stars coming out, we already know that the Centurion card exists, right? And the Centurion card already boosts the dribbling stats by a +1. So another +1 would definitely be a very helpful situation for this card. For someone that you could probably give a Hawk chemistry style to in the future instead of the Hunter. But by the looks of it, if they boost the pace a certain way, it's probably going to be a card people still give the Hunter to, or if they're a freak like me when it comes to the left stick dribbling, because I have to compensate for how this game is, Engine chemistry style could be very ideal too, because base card stats for finishing will be significantly higher for a card that would have very nice playstyles. First of all, Dead Ball Plus is very good, okay? When you take free kicks, guys, if you know what I'm talking about, if you get a free kick, it's almost like hitting a penalty. It's actually really insane, especially if you green time these strikes. There's some people that play in the higher divisions that they will take the free kicks so quickly with Zico and green time it, because he's amazing at them. Like, you actually can't really do much about it, like even if you did the manual goalkeeping stuff, because they just do it so quickly with him, because the aiming with him is very fast, and they just have to make sure that they green time the strike, you know? But yeah, no, you know, Zico's obviously a really nice card. People have actually done him for their SBC accounts too. So a lot of potential there to work with as well. Rivaldo could be pretty decent too. This card they gave a 4-star capability to. I don't know if he's still going to be like that crazy for meta. Like, for me personally, I would still probably have to give this card a finisher, just because of where his dribbling is at and his shooting is at. But on the new card, you know, if the shooting is drastically increased because it's really close to the mid-90s area, you can actually consider giving him an engine, right? Because the balance is going to be the main thing with the card, considering that he's 6'1" at a high and average plus body type. But I have faced this card sometimes from people that have packed him, and the key thing here is obviously playstyle pluses, because in his case he has technical plus, so that kind of compensates for, you know, the dribbling not necessarily being the highest, right? So with a card like this on the engine chemistry style, boosting the pace, dribbling, and passing on the card could definitely be a really cool thing too, right? The play styles that he's currently working with, there's a lot of very good things that you can see here, right? Like, even if they give him a Dead Ball Plus would be a huge W too. Like I said, people who take those free kicks really quickly, there's a lot of potential to work with there too as a future stars, because they get the 2 play style pluses, right? Zidane, when you get to these versions of Zidane, especially since it's kind of like straying away from like the SBC version at this point, you start to get into the realms of the card where it starts to get better and better, mainly because they start to give him more dribbling capabilities, right? So if you were to pack one of these versions of Zinedine Zidane, right, and you were to give him a shadow chemistry style and you're playing like a 4-1-3-2, sure, you would have to work with the left stick a little bit because he's 6'1" and the dribbling stats is set up a certain way, but all round controlled lengthy player that can attack and defend, he's actually pretty decent, right? The SBC card is not a terrible card, right? But you could tell that he's like a 50-50 player, right? Like right away. Like, there's certain cards that I try where I'm like, if you don't like this card, I just think you're weird. You know, like Mbappe, some people have told me like, oh, I don't get along with Mbappe. That's like the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, that one doesn't make any sense. There's certain cards where they're like, oh yeah, you know, like I'm not like too crazy about this card. Where I'm like, okay, like I understand, but I can feel it, and then I mentioned that, right? Was it Dan? The thing is that another playstyle plus would be a huge deal, right? Like for a card like this, especially since he's lengthy, a defensive one would be really cool. But an attacking one would also be really cool too, right? From all of these playstyles that he has here, I think technical plus would kind of be crazy for him because he's a taller player, and then you would work with the dribbling being as it is as well, right? So there's a lot of potential to work with there too, for sure. Playstyles are looking nice on him. Zidane is always a cool card, but again, these are cards that you mostly have to pack because they're not going to be turned into SBCs by any means, right? David Beckham is in drastic need of a new card. This card, I mean, like honestly, usability was there, but you mainly use this card just for like sentimental, because for meta, he's kind of like outdated, right? Like even when I reviewed his card during that time period, I mentioned to people that like it's going to be a decent card. The usability is there for sure, because during that time period, I mean, you could just give him like a shadow or a hunter, and you know, you could still work with the card being the way that it was, high work rate, 6 foot tall, that kind of stuff. But yeah, he needs more drastic things, right? Deadball Plus is probably gonna be the go-to with a card like this, but I think like with a passing, like a good passing one would kind of be nuts for him, right? Because he already has like a bunch of passing play styles. Honestly, I'm saying passing, but like since his passing is already really good, giving him like something like a shooting one would be kind of nuts, you know, just to kind of like change it up for a card like this. To really make him like a good card, right? Even with I always forget the playstyle. I think it's press proven. Like even that, to kind of compensate for dribbling not being as responsive when you are close to people, would kind of be really nice too, right? So press proven plus would be really cool for a more physical oriented dribbler when it comes to this card as well, right? We have Smith. Smith is the one that was a objective card, so it was this one. So I've used this card. I never did her review. I should have, because she was a season objective, but motivation's low with this game, you know? On this card, the main thing is that her dribbling did become outdated, right? So it's hard to see them like drastically increase in this card. It really depends, because again, I would give her an engine from base card stats being improved in the future, because it would put her finishing in the mid 90s area. Dribbling would be into the 90s area, because agility would probably get more than a +2, right? And then the pace would also probably get like a +2, +3. And in regards to usability, she would be significantly better, because I need the finishing to be in the mid 90s area, and you know, even physical stats would be increased a little bit, so the usability would be there. Playstyle pluses, she has dead ball plus. A finesse shot for her would be cool, like if they were to just use whatever she currently has, I would be okay with that, because she's an attacker, so giving her an attacking oriented playstyle in regards to shooting would be fine. Like I would be okay with that, right? Even Trivella, right? Because they nerfed Trivella, but Trivella is still very, very effective, so that could be a thing too. Last one that we have here is Cannavaro. Cannavaro, even though he's a shorter player, he has potential, depending on what they do with the intercept plus that he has, right? It's that and what they do with the pace, because I have gotten this card on an SBC account and I wasn't going to use him over, you know, some of the physical oriented center backs that I currently had in that team, because in this game, Cannavaro back then used to be like a crazy gameplay commentator. Like I would say like 3-4 years ago, he was like a gameplay compensator in regards to like movements left and right and stuff, right? But this year, you definitely notice the AI stuff with the Intercept Plus, because Intercept Plus, like I told you guys all the time, is a very, very good play style. So AI wise, you definitely notice it being good, but in this game, like the physical big dudes putting pressure against the attackers is definitely going to be a main go-to for a lot of people's teams. So yeah, we have a few other leaks here as well. Like we have a card like Savio, who is released as an SBC OBJ. He has potential because his base card stats for pace is already very high. It would be this one right here, right? So his base card stats for pace is already very high. So if it was high and I can give him like a finisher or something, it would be really nice. But I don't know if he's going to be formatted for a finisher, because his dribbling is already at a 99. So I guess it depends on how they end up improving him. Like I could totally see him being like a marksman type player if they improve pace and dribbling to be at a certain like points. But if his dribbling is like really nice because he's 5'9" with a lean body type while being a left-footed player, that would be a huge W with the position changes that he has. Like this card actually has a lot of potential to be solid in game with the right playstyle pluses, right? He has technical as of right now, which, you know, a regular technical is good enough. He can definitely be given other playstyle pluses and be a very, very solid gameplay objective, right? It just depends on how, you know, EA ends up improving him. Rico Lewis is also leaked as well. A few people have definitely done his evolutions if they're like Man City fans for the most part. He's gotten to a point where his improvements have been pretty significant. Bruiser wingback, triple threat wingback, FS right back, power up. The card is still a little bit outdated even after all of those upgrades, so I'm pretty sure the future stars could potentially be better than this. It just needs to be the type of card that is essentially maximized in the pace department, because, you know, there's no lengthy to push him out of the pace department with the, because with Kai Havertz, for instance, like his pace is low on that anchor, or not low, well, it is low on the anchor, but the length he pushes it out of the card more, right? And Kai Havertz is obviously very nice. But with Lewis, like, he's not, right? So they have to drastically improve that, drastically improve the defense, even create a situation where you can give him like an anchor, to be honest, right? Boost the pace, defending, and physicality of the card. It would also be really cool too, right? So a lot of potential there as well. I'm not sure if there's anything else that's like super leaked. Yeah, I think these ones are just like cards that people are like looking forward to and stuff, right? What does this guy say? Oh, it doesn't have the translate stuff. Vous avez sur cette team de future stars? I know my French is impeccable. I guess like some of these are predictions. Like some of these he already knows who it is, and then some of these are predictions, because there's some cards here that'd be kind of cool. So it would be Diakite there. Sule was the SBC today, so he actually might be right. I have seen this guy being leaked earlier, actually. I don't know his name. I don't watch Arsenal that much. I haven't had too much time to watch football recently, to be honest with you guys. Team of the Year Visionary puts him at what, 77 pace? Yeah, he needs a drastic improvement. Yeah, but imagine doing evolutions and you improve these cards all the time through the evolutions, but then you get to a certain point where like a new promo card comes out and he's just like significantly better. Evolutions were really meant for the players that you just don't believe will ever get a card. Like for me, if I was doing like an FC Porto team, it would be cards like Romario Barrow, right? Like this guy's never gonna get a card. Like this guy, right? Like I know he would never get a card, but as a center mid, he would get to a point like this where like the usability is okay, but he still needs drastic improvements. Like that's what these cards were meant for. Even like David Carmo, right? Because I don't even think they're gonna like improve this guy. Maybe he gets a team of the season. I don't know what the EA sometimes, or the Liga NOS team of the seasons is like weird, right? But yeah, like cards like this, right? Like if I were to put him into a 90, 70 pace, but it's still outdated, you know what I'm saying? Like for meta, you have to wait so long just to use some of these cards that are not as meta. That's why people always look at the meta options, because they want to use the cards right away, right? Like they don't want to wait for an evolution to come out where they get like a plus 15 in the pace department or something, right? But with this card, Arsenal fans will rejoice because he has some pretty good playstyles, right? Bruiser, block, and anticipate plus. Another playstyle plus would be really cool, but this is us looking at a super improved version of the card that has a bunch of playstyle pluses, right? Nico Williams would be really cool for sure if the dribbling doesn't feel really bad for him. If he doesn't feel anything like his brother in football or in FC 24, every single year he's just an R trigger merchant. Like it's just run the whole time, right? With this card, you know, as long as the dribbling can be improved with the shooting and his base card stats for pace is good, then he can obviously be really cool too. We have Salma Paralujo. I never seen this card before, but she does look pretty decent, to be fair. She could be a really solid card. Bull, female player, I mean, doesn't really look that interesting. She definitely does. Links are really good for her. Carlos Puyol, yeah, 76 pace is not going to do it. He needs to be significantly higher. Let's not go for realism here. Like, we need this range, 83 at the very least at this point, you know? Like, it just needs to be for these guys. Baggio. I've seen the Nedved link as well. Nedved, they don't really do this card justice because there was a year where Pavel Nedved was actually, like, he was actually pretty decent to use. Like, again, we used him during a time period where you would give him an engine chemistry style, but during that time period, I think he had, like, really good finesse shots, you know, and he had the 5-star weak foot too. On this card, he still has the 5-star weak foot. But yeah, I'm not really sure why they never really drastically improved these cards, right? Like, there was an evolution, which was the icon upgrade, but this is still incredibly outdated. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a future stars would be really cool for him too. And then the last one here would be Baggio. Baggio, I never really used him this year. No, I say I never really used him, but like I really haven't. Like, I just never really touched these cards. I wonder if he's the same with like the other Italian players, where it's like Zola and I think Del Piero. No, Zola specifically, because Zola has like 90 agility, 90 balance on that Team of the Year card, and it's so good, bro. It's such a... If they gave him 5-star skills, it would have been really nuts for him. But hey, maybe Baggio's in the same boat. Who knows, right? He's 5'9", unique body type, right? Strangely formatted for sure, 100%, right? Shot power is incredibly low on the card, but you know, in the future, he could definitely be a really solid player too. And then that is pretty much it. The reason why I'm looking at this team is because this guy was the leaked SBC today, and he's trash. So that's why I'm looking at the rest of these, and the stats could be pretty accurate for the most part. I think Team 2 looks more interesting than Team 1, to be honest, like with the regular players, but I think this promo is cool regardless, right? If you get lucky enough to pack some of these guys and use them in their teams, and obviously they could be really nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.